All right, so today we're going to Japan, at least in a manner of speaking.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, our source materials is this fascinating transcript of a podcast
Oh.
featuring a sculptor named Hideki and
Huh?
this really interesting woman named Mayumi who calls herself an inspiration artist.
Inspiration artist. I like that.
Me too. Just makes you want to know more,
For
right?
sure.
So the whole thing is AI translated, which adds another layer to it.
I bet.
Yeah. It's pretty accurate, but it does have some funny moments, like
Oh.
it mixes up who's speaking sometimes,
Mm.
and at one point it translates business meeting as tea party with ninjas.
Wait, tea party with ninjas?
I know, right?
That's hilarious. But seriously, though, even with those quirks, this AI translation technology is opening up a whole new world, isn't it?
It really is. Think about it. We get to eavesdrop on a conversation between two artists on the other side of the globe.
Exactly. And who knows how many more conversations like this are out there just waiting to be discovered?
It's pretty mind-blowing. And speaking of global reach, there's something Hideki and Mayumi talk about that I found really interesting.
What's that?
They're actually planning to create an English language channel to reach a wider audience.
Wow, that's smart. They're really thinking ahead.
Yeah, and it shows they understand that to connect with different audiences, you might need to adapt your message.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It makes me think, how could adapting your message help you achieve your goals?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
But before I get too deep into that, there's this other concept they talk about that I just have to share.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They call it legwork, but it has nothing to do with exercise.
Right, some metaphorical legwork.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about putting yourself out there, making those personal connections, and building genuine relationships.
That's so important, especially in the art world.
They even tell this story about a Japanese artist who built a global following by constantly reaching out to galleries, collectors, other artists,
Yeah.
just making those individual connections.
And it worked.
It paid off big time. It really highlights the power of human connection, in a world that's so dominated by algorithms and online marketing.
It's like that personal touch still matters.
Absolutely. And it made me realize that maybe I need to step up my legwork game, be more proactive about attending industry events, sending personalized messages, even offering to collaborate on small projects.
It's not just about networking, it's about building meaningful collaborations.
Exactly. It's about creating a community, a support system, a network of people who genuinely believe in what you're doing.
And that can make all the difference.
Especially when you're feeling discouraged or facing challenges, having that support network can really keep you going.
It's like having a team of cheerleaders in your corner.
Totally. And speaking of support and encouragement, Hideki and Mayumi also talk about the importance of saying yes to unexpected opportunities.
Interesting. Tell me more.
They use this example of a famous artist who actually found success by embracing projects that were outside his comfort zone.
Uncomfortable yeses.
Yeah, exactly. At first, he resisted these opportunities, but once he embraced them, his career took off in ways he never imagined.
It's amazing how saying yes to the unexpected can lead to such incredible growth.
Right. Like this artist. He ended up collaborating with musicians, designing a clothing line, even creating artwork for public spaces.
Wow. Just goes to show you never know where those uncomfortable yeses might lead.
Exactly. So thinking about your own work, are there any uncomfortable yeses lurking out there that might be worth exploring?
That's a good question. I'll have to give that some thought. But you know what else stuck with me from this podcast?
What's that?
That anecdote about the company owner and his unique perspective on employee behavior. The whole ego thing.
Oh, yeah. That one was a real head-scratcher.
Yeah.
Tell me what stood out to you about that whole discussion.
Well, it was just fascinating how this company owner believed that even seemingly negative behaviors like grumpiness or excessive people-pleasing actually stemmed from a desire to fulfill one's own ego needs.
It's like he was saying that everyone is just trying to get their needs met, even if it doesn't always come across in the best way.
Exactly. It's like seeing those negative behaviors as attempts to achieve some kind of personal satisfaction.
It really makes you reevaluate how you perceive people's actions and motivations.
Instead of judging those behaviors, you start to see them as a quest for something deeper.
Right. Like maybe that grumpy coworker is actually just feeling undervalued or insecure.
And maybe by understanding those underlying needs, you can find more compassionate and effective ways to deal with those challenging workplace dynamics.
So true. It's all about finding that delicate balance, isn't it?
Absolutely. The balance between personal fulfillment and meeting the needs of others.
The balance between staying true to your vision and adapting to different audiences.
The balance between saying yes and knowing when to say no.
It's all connected.
It really is. It's like a dance constantly shifting and adjusting. Finding that sweet spot where you feel aligned with your purpose and energized by your work.
Beautifully said. And speaking of balance, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how this concept of legwork and building genuine connections can contribute to a more balanced and fulfilling creative life.
That's a great question, and I think it's something we should dive into a little deeper.
Yeah, for me, legwork is all about building that strong support network.
Right. Not just for practical stuff, but for your own well-being, too.
Exactly. Like having those people who believe in you, even when you don't.
I think a lot of creative people underestimate that part.
I know I do sometimes.
Yeah.
But what I really appreciate about Hideki and Mayumi's take on legwork is that it's not about using people.
It's about genuine connection.
Yeah, like they talk about offering help, sharing resources, celebrating each other's successes.
It's about building each other up.
Exactly.
Mm.
And I think that kind of community can be so powerful for creativity.
Oh, absolutely. When you're surrounded by people who get it, who understand your passion, it just makes a difference.
You feel safer to experiment, to take risks.
And that's where the good stuff comes from, right?
Exactly. It makes me think, you know how being a creative person can be so isolating sometimes?
Oh, yeah. Stuck in your own head, in your own space.
But maybe we need to be more intentional about getting out there and connecting with each other.
Maybe legwork isn't just about clients or collaborators.
Maybe it's about finding your tribe.
The people who get you, who inspire you.
I like that. And you know what? It actually connects back to that idea of saying yes to unexpected opportunities.
Oh, yeah. Maybe some of those uncomfortable yeses lead you right to your tribe.
It's all about putting yourself out there, isn't it?
Exactly. Embrace new experiences, new people. Who knows what might happen?
And it reminds me of that artist they talked about, the one who found success by saying yes.
The one who went outside his comfort zone?
Right. At first he was hesitant, but once he embraced those uncomfortable yeses, his creativity just exploded.
He found all these new avenues he never would have considered before.
It's like those detours can sometimes lead to the most amazing destinations.
I love that. And it doesn't even have to be some huge project.
Sometimes it's just the small things.
Teaching a workshop, mentoring someone, trying a new technique.
Sometimes those little steps can lead to the biggest leaps.
So true. You know what else I keep thinking about?
What's that?
That company owner and his whole philosophy about ego needs in the workplace.
Oh, yeah. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one.
It's just so different the way he sees things.
Like, he doesn't see those ego needs as negative at all.
He actually sees them as essential for balance in the company.
Even the stuff that seems annoying or disruptive.
Exactly. It's like those behaviors are serving a purpose even if we don't understand it.
It makes you wonder what's really going on underneath the surface.
Yeah.
You know?
Instead of just writing someone off as difficult.
Maybe there's a deeper need that's not being met.
And if we can understand that need, maybe we can find a better way to address it.
It's all about finding that balance again, isn't it?
Always. Between individual needs and collective goals.
Between speaking up and listening.
Between offering support and asking for help.
It's a dance for sure.
And it's a dance we're all learning together.
Well said. So on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up with our final thought-provoking question for the listener. So thinking about everything Hideki and Mayumi talked about, especially that idea of embracing discomfort, I'm curious,
Yeah.
in your own life right now, is there something, maybe an opportunity or a challenge
Okay.
that you could say yes to that might shake things up in a good way?
That's a good one to ponder, I think.
It really is. You know, it's funny. We started with this Japanese podcast transcript, AI translated,
I know, right?
and it's led to this whole conversation about creativity, connection, finding balance. It's really been eye-opening.
Sometimes the most unexpected sources lead to the best insights.
I think so.
Yeah.
And it makes me realize that maybe we need to be more open to those unexpected detours in our own lives.
Embrace the unknown a little bit.
Exactly. Like Hideki and Mayumi said, it's all about trusting the journey, finding the joy in the process.
And that's something we can all apply to our lives, whether we're artists, entrepreneurs, or just people who want to grow.
Absolutely. So to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep saying yes to the unexpected.
You never know what you might discover.
That's right. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.